Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, great people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world. You are welcome to this program. But before we kickstart this program, I think we need to join Facebook because I see we are not live on Facebook. So we are joining live on Facebook before we proceed. So if you are joining, just one moment. Let's connect to Facebook before we proceed. I don't know why it just disconnected itself after all the setups, but let us go there before we proceed. All we need to do I know we're already live on YouTube and Twitter. So we're going live on Facebook. Yes, and we're having a guest. And the guest, I believe, she's already here in the studio. So we are going to proceed immediately once we are in on Facebook. We are going to proceed. Okay, we still have the same setup here. All right, perfect. So yes, here we go. Here we go. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, great and wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world. You are welcome to this special edition of this program. While you are joining, share this video, invite others to join. While you are joining, share this video, invite other people to join. Very, very important. We are here once again to do the needful. Remember, last night, I promised you guys that I am going to now tell you the actual reason why they are fighting, those infiltrators are busy fighting who will create their so-called government in exile and who is going to lead in their so-called government in exile. I am going to actually tell you the reason why they are going for government in exile. So we have a guest, but I am going to bring in the guest very soon. So I am going to actually tell you the real reason behind these infiltrators trying to create government in exile and what they are intending to achieve in creating this, in whatever they call it, whether they're activating or they are creating government in exile. I am going to tell you that this evening, and I will tell you exactly the reason why they are actually telling you that they have days to give you Biafra. And I am going to tell you the reason for everything that they are doing. And don't forget, we are live on Twitter at Judge Money C. If you are watching on Twitter, retweet this video, invite and alert all the lovers of freedoms to come and join, and alert even the structures, the institutions that are in the world to continue to actually bear us witness that those criminals who are infiltrating IPOB are indeed not with us, but rather they are those who are fighting for their personal benefits. So today I am also going to reiterate on our HOD, the head of the Directorate of State, what he said last night, which actually made me so happy because this information, it has been at my disposal, and I was actually waiting for the leadership to actually make a pronouncement before I will bring to you this information that I have at my disposal in regards to the government in exile that these infiltrators are fighting to actually establish or set up. Now we are live on Twitter, we are live on YouTube at Judge Money Blog Africa. If you are there, like the video, click the subscription button and the notification button that you may be notified each time we are online. And if you are watching on Facebook, of course, we are in different Facebook platforms at Judge Money Blog, at Judge Money Blog Africa, at Judge Money Blog Official, rather, at Judge Money Blog /TV. And there is other pages we are connected to on Facebook. So whichever place where you are watching, share this video, invite others to join. Share the video, invite others to join, because we are going to be doing something that is going to actually be educative and informative. Of course, we have not forgotten that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is in the DSS dungeon, and they are depriving him of his medications because they want him to actually die, and they will say it is of a natural cause. But little did they know that thank you very much. So, what we are trying to say, we know that the DSS is torturing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. We know that the DSS is doing all they can to see if they will kill our leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and for them to announce It is of a natural cause, but I want to remind them and I want to inform the whole world. Now, what we are doing here, we are civilized, but there is an extent you are going to push somebody, no matter how civilized or respectful they are, you will find them reacting. And they are not reacting because they are uncivilized. They are reacting because they have taken enough. They are saturated of anything, everything or anything that you have thrown against them. They are tired of, actually digesting them. That is the reason why we are calling on Nigeria. We are calling on our so-called representatives. We are calling on anybody who is actually involved in this evil treatment being meted on our leader, Onyendumazin Nnamdi Kanu, depriving him of his medical treatment, depriving him of medication and food, to see if they are going to turn the story around. If anything happened to our leader, I want you to know that we are all as good as doomed. So we are going to behave as people who are as good as doomed. And it will not be in favor of anybody, because you cannot push a person and you expect them not to react or to cry. There is an extent to anything and everything you can do to a human being. Our leader is so dear to us, just like your Nigeria created by Britain is so dear to you. Our leader is more dear to us than your so-called contraption Nigeria. Because we know and we are aware that the contraption called Nigeria is a British company and nurtured, and actually whatever you do, you must take permission from Britain. Whenever things are getting out of hand, whenever things are being so difficult, you'll see those who are the cabals sending their impostor to go and meet their master, just like they did a few days ago. And I want you to know, regardless of how much you go and seek for, advice from Britain, they will never do something wrong, especially when the whole world is watching, because they care a lot about their reputation. In as much as they are the oppressors, in as much as they are the people who made us to be where we are today, suffering, running helter-skelter from where we come from because of their evil move of amalgamation in 1914. They are actually they have, their dignity and their profile to protect before the world. That is the reason why it is said that we are fighting against not flesh and blood, but principalities and power. And how do we navigate these principalities and powers from the high places? It is only through using the same principles that they implemented, which is human rights. And that is the reason why we will continue to advocate for human rights. That is the reason why we will stand in that principle which they have created, that we are not aware of how it works. But today we are now aware of how these principles, they work. That is the reason why we are taking advantage of these principles in order to fight for our freedom, because no one has a right to actually enslave another, because the slavery, the time of slavery was abolished long time ago, and the systematic slavery, we can end it if we follow the principle that actually abolished that physical slavery. And that is the reason why we started on the media. And the same reason why we are very, very disciplined and we are very, very civilized in our approach and in our reportage. Everything that we do in this media space, we are doing it because it is our right. Within our right, we are not actually violating any right or any international law or treaty that we are actually part of. We are doing it because it is within our right. And because they have seen that there is no way where they are also going to indict IPOB, that they have explored every possible means to indict IPOB. They failed on arrival in each one they bring to the table because we are proactive and also reactive in order to actually scuttle every manipulative approaches which they bring to the table to use it to obscure our movement. Now they have introduced a new pattern which is called setting up a government in exile. And that is what we are here to discuss. And I have an, I have somebody who is going to be joining me in this program. She's already in the studio, just waiting for me to call her up to come and actually introduce herself and join us in this program. Of course, when she comes, you people, it is somebody that you are very, very familiar with. Because in this regard, I need two heads in order to navigate these informations that I have at my disposal. And I want to actually put up a disclaimer. The fact that we are discussing the activities of these infiltrators that are infiltrating IPOB, I want you to remember, it is not because they are part of us, but it is because they are using our name, they are using our organization, they are using, everything about us in order to conduct their lies and manipulate you. And that is the reason why we must actually dig our hands to whatever they actually are implementing, because we know that the world is so deaf that they cannot hear the voice of, good people. They cannot hear the voice of a victim. They rather hear the voice of, the perpetrator instead of hearing the voice of the victim. So that is the reason why we are here to tell you about the initiative, what triggered that initiative, why are they going through that road, and why are they giving you this and telling you they're going to give you Biafra and the implications thereof. Now, first of all, I want us to now, because before we go anywhere, before we do anything, I want us to now get the knowledge of what is government in exile. After now, telling you, reading out for you what government in exile means, then we will now begin to give you the information of what they are trying to achieve. Now I will read for you. A government in exile, abbreviated as GIE, is a political group that claims to be a country or semi-sovereign state, legitimate government, but is unable to exercise legal power and instead reside in a foreign country. Government in exile usually plan to one day return to their native countries and regain formal power. A government in exile differs from a rump state, R-U-M-P, a rump state, in the sense that a rump state controls at least part of its formal territory. For example, during World War I, nearly all of Belgium was occupied by Germany, but Belgium and its allies held on to a small slice in the country's west. A government in exile, in contrast, has lost all its territory. However, in practice, the difference might be minor. In practice, the difference might be minor. In the above example, the Belgium government at Sante Adresse was located in French territory, and acted as a government in exile for most practical purposes. The government in exile tend to occur during wartime occupation or the aftermath of a civil war, revolution, or military coup. For example, during German expansion and advance in World War II, some European governments sought refuge in the United Kingdom rather than face destruction at the hands of Nazi Germany. On the other hand, the previous government of Free India, proclaimed by Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose, sought to use support from the invading Japanese to gain control of the country from what it viewed as British occupiers. And in the final year of World War II, after Nazi Germany was driven out of France, it maintained the remnant of the Nazis Vichy government as a French Germany in exile at the Sigmaringen enclave. Okay, Sigmaringen enclave. A government in exile may also form from widespread belief in the legitimacy. This is where I want you to pay attention. This is where I want you to actually grab something. A government in exile may also form from widespread belief in the illegitimacy of ruling government due to the outbreak of the Syrian civil war in 2011. For instance, the National Coalition for Syrian Revolutionary and Opposition Forces was formed by a group whose members sought to end the rule of the ruling Ba'ath Party. The government in exile may have little or no recognition from other states. Are you paying attention? Little or no recognition from other states. So that means government in exile is not actually, a big deal to set up. It is not a big deal to set up. The effectiveness, the setup of government in exile is actually what is your objectives? What is it you are intending to achieve? That is, what type of freedom are you fighting for? What type of challenges are you facing? That is actually what triggers government in exile. And this is exactly what I am actually going to explain to you. I will unpack it and I will break it down to you. We deliberate on that and we will now actually give you the full information. Okay, the government in exile may have little or no recognition from other states. The effectiveness of a government in exile depends primarily on the amount of support it receives either from foreign governments or from the population of its own country. Some exiled government come to develop into a formidable force, posing a serious challenges to the incumbent regime of the country, while others are maintained chiefly as a symbolic gesture. Okay, don't forget that. Maintained chiefly as a symbolic gesture, which is, you don't know exactly which one the infiltrators are setting up and claiming that they are setting it up on your behalf. That is the very, very reason why I love so much what our head of directorate did yesterday. And I am going to actually bring it back and reiterate on it in order to give you the full information. Let me read this last paragraph before we now, because I'm not going to read everything. I just want you to get the glimpse of what we are trying to actually bring to the table. The phenomenon of a government in exile predates the former utilization of the term. In period of monarchical government, exiled monarchs or dynasties sometimes set up exile court, as the House of Stuart did when driven from their throne by Olive Cromwell, and again at the Glorious Revolution. Now, you see, there are different types of government in exile. Those are the things you need to understand. There are different types. There is even anonymous government in exile. There are people who will set up government in exile, but they remain anonymous. Now, that is the reason why you see these people who continue to tell you they are setting up government in exile, they are doing whatever they are doing. I am so happy that our leadership has been proactive in distancing, ourselves from the activities of these criminals, because they have never been part of us and they will never be part of us. Whatever they are doing it at their own peril, because of there are consequences in what they are doing. There are serious consequences. There are serious implications in what they are doing, and that is what we are going to actually navigate. So now I am going to, outline these, consequences. I am going to actually bring in, the information that I've gathered on these people who are fighting and the reason why they are fighting. Number one, before I actually bring in my guest, I hope I am coming out clear. I hope I am coming out clear, because I see I am having a constraint. I hope I am coming out clear. Please, someone confirm for me. If you're on YouTube, confirm for me that I am coming out clear, because on YouTube I will see it quickly, as we have so many Facebook. If you're on YouTube, confirm to me that our voice is sound so that we will proceed. So, as I was saying, there are things that you are expecting those who claim to be the government in exile. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wisdom, Agnes. Thank you very much. Now, what are you expecting? What are the legitimate government in exile up for? What can they do? What extent can they go in order actually to help the freedom that you are fighting for? Number one, the government in exile, of course, you heard what they said, it is their role. Their role is to actually be there because they are unsafe to actually carry out their activities from their home country. So they decided to carry it out from outside the country. They might not be recognized, but the most important thing is the population of their people behind them. That is the most important thing about the government in exile. And the reason why we are reminding to these people and the world and this Western world, this Western agenda that is pushing what they are doing, it is because, number one, they are not part of us. We say it over and over and over again. If, just like Mazi Chike Doziem said yesterday, if anybody or any institution is actually going to work with these criminals who are using IPOB to do their bidding for their own selfish benefit, in the name you are working with IPOB, you are actually yourself. And remember, IPOB is a formidable force that no one will fool them. And the plan of this Western, the agenda of this, manipulation that is carrying out these things, it is to one day come up and tell you, we are negotiating your so-called independent. The government in exile is negotiating with the US Congress, or they are negotiating with the British Parliament on how to actually give you Biafra, and they are going to sign terms and conditions on how to give you Biafra. They are actually going to agree to the terms of these people that if they give you Biafra, you will give them this, you will be this, you will be like this, you will be like that, you will do your things in this way and in that way, which is the reason why I believe Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did not go through that route of government in exile. Because from government in exile, I believe you are vulnerable. You are vulnerable because there is a nation that is hosting you. If it is a powerful nation, if they want to actually, if they have interest in what is in Biafra land, they can give you their support. They can tell you it is this way. You will sign something that you do not know while signing your life to these people. And at the end of the day, you will not recognize that you have signed your life to these people. Just like Zeke, Aworowo, and all those people who signed, your lives to Britain in 1960. They signed your life to Britain. And the reason why they did it, it is because they want to be the one who will be written in the world record or in the Guinness Book of Record that they negotiated your independence. They want to prove a point. But now, having seen, Britain saw that we have seen the weakness of these people. It is who is going to be the one who did it. So now we are going to take advantage of the weakness of these people. It is about who do it. So they don't mind, they might not even be able to read the terms and the conditions of what they are going to go into. They will just sign because they want to be the one that did it. That is as a result of that, you found yourself in this one mighty mess that you are in today. That is as a result of it, you found yourself in this mess that you are in today, running helter-skelter from it. So, for those of you who are actually supporting what you do not know, you are actually following what you know nothing about. I am warning you and I am advising you. We are IPOB. Regardless of what they do, it is not our obligation. We are not in the same course with them. We are fighting for a total liberation, emancipation, freedom. We are not fighting to bring to ourselves another neo-colonial, era that is going to hunt us. That is the reason why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu made a statement. Biafra is the last miracle. Because if you want to get this bogus Biafra, all these criminals are trying to, promising you, trying to prove a point, because some of you who are so foolish and uninformed, I will say ignorant, will not understand, because you people that will always say, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu say, whatever you can do to get us Biafra, do it, without you understanding the area he is coming from, because you people does not understand the figurative words, and that has been your problem. That is the reason why you said many things that he never said, in order to back up your lies and manipulations. Now, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did not tell you to go and go into sign any document with any free world to get you Biafra. He never sent you. He never ever sent anybody, because he knows what you might be getting yourself into. Because if you want to go through that road, Biafra, he's supposed to have gotten what he's looking for. Not what he's looking for, what they want to offer to him. Because in everything you do, there is always an offer on the table. Everything you do for your freedom, there will be an offer on the table. Now, what type of offer is on the table for you? Is it the offer on the table? Is it a merit to what you are actually fighting to achieve? Or is it just something that if you get carried away, I want to be the one who did it? You'll just go into it. Anything can serve. As long as I am the one who, as long as I have told them I will give them Biafra, anything can serve. You can even take the whole resources in Biafra land. It does not matter. You can take all of them. All we want is to have a nation. We have a nation, then whatever we do there, it is fine, as long as we have a nation. It is the agenda of these criminals that are living in the United States. It is the agenda of this criminal that is living in Finland, whom is using the name of IPOB. And that is the reason why they run to Afonja, that are actually there claiming they are fighting for our Yorubas, brethren, for their freedom. That is the reason why they run to them. That is the reason why, because they want your sympathy. They want to lure you into their shenanigan, so that you remember that what I read say, if they have support from their host home nation, that is what makes them give them more recognition. Because if Mazen Nnamdi Kanu wanted to go through that route, he was going to go through that route, and he will have support from the whole of Biafrans. But he knows what is there on the table. That is the reason why he couldn't go that route. He wants to fight the principalities that is holding us down as African, as countries that is coming out of Africa. So we will not suffer after independence, so that we will know that we are going to be liberated thoroughly. Now, we have a guest in the studio. Before I bring what the DOS said yesterday, I want to bring our guest in. So, our guest, please come in and introduce yourself before we proceed.
Good morning, Judge Money. How are you today?
Good, and you? Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Okay, good morning to every Biafran. Good morning to Mazi Hamadike One. Good morning to DOS, to every legitimate IPOB members, those who are truly into the fight and to the structure. Marian Heder. express my respect to everyone. I'll be speaking from United States on the topic at hand. Do you want me to continue?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I have listened a little bit to, I've been listening anyway, actually, to what you have been saying and what you started. I believe you're dealing with the topic of government in exile. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, that's it.
Okay, before I proceed, I would like to start with the origin. What is exile? Because that is the key word to what you're dealing with. What do we
Yes,
mean when we use that word exile?
yes.
According to the dictionary meaning, the root word or the original word is a French word, and it means is exiled. That's the way I may not pronounce it well because I don't speak French. But it's
Mm,
EXIL, which means
yes.
banishment. I
Yeah.
want us to underline these words because they are important, because they will come to play in the argument as we proceed. It's called banishment. He said in Old French, it is called to banish a person. In Latin, it's banish person. To exile, that is to remove the person by force. It's not a deliberate thing. It's not like you take a
Decided.
visa, you go to, it's not like you take a visa, you go to a country, then all of a sudden you are in exile. No. Exile is not a voluntary action. That's what I'm trying to explain here.
Mm,
You are removed by force. He said, force removal from one's country. You are forced to leave. Sometimes by coup d'etat. Why I kept silent when you use the word asylum? Asylum, in a way, you can look at it, but it's not really. Because asylum, one of the key reasons why people are given asylum is because you are able to establish that your country or your place of origin or abode is no more conducive for you. So because of that, you took a leave, you are forced to take a leave of that place. Because if you have stayed there, or if you continue to stay there, or if you return to that place, your life is going to be in danger. That's the main criteria of giving somebody an asylum in a foreign country. So in a way, even though that literally you are not banished, but because of your circumstances, you took a leave and go on exile. We must, because these definitions are important. Because in sometimes, like when there's a coup d'etat, the president or the cabinet, president and his cabinet, because they know if they stay in that country, they're going to be killed. They find a way and escape. In that case, they can, they're in exile, voluntary exile. Or sometimes they are forced to leave. But in all these circumstances, what we're dealing with here is an exile. I want us to understand that. So now, having explained this little definition of mine, I would like to ask you a question before I continue. These individuals, because we are dealing with a particular individuals, which are people that are Biafrans, who are claiming to trying to establish government in exile. One thing we must make categorically clear, which is continuing with what Mazi Edozian said yesterday. One of the things he said yesterday. IPOB is a registered, recognized by international countries, organization that are proposing, projecting, fighting for the restoration of Biafra as a state. So IPOB has her structure, and her structure hinges on DOS, which the full meaning is Directorate of States. These states are potential states of Biafra when it comes. And at the head of the affairs, or the one that for now, that Mazi, who is the president Look at it that way, because we have to define this structure. Because once we understand the structure we are dealing with under IPOB, some of the noise we are hearing will not carry weight, or will not irritate us, or will not shake our faith. Maazi, who started this movement, look at him as the president of this movement. Maazi Edoziem is the CEO, or the person that takes instruction from Maazi, who has the blueprint on how to restore Biafra. The message comes from Maazi Hamadike to Edoziem, who makes sure that all these directorate of states, which are components, do what Maazi wants them to do. That's flowing from the top of chain of command. Coming from the grassroots, we on the grassroots will channel our ideas, our grievances, whatever it is, through the coordinators. It goes through the chain of command, gets to the directorate of state. They will have a discuss meeting. Then with Maazi Edoziem, whatever they decide, or any improvement they want to do, or any suggestion they're coming up with, they will channel it when they have an agreement, a forum or a quorum. They will channel it to Maazi or Hamadike as the president. Then his final signature will make that into become a law or something we must do. But now that Maazi is somewhere that he cannot be, his signature cannot be obtained for what we are doing, for the continuation of this movement, Maazi Edoziem has been given the power of attorney. Power of attorney is when you delegate your power to somebody else to represent your interest, because when you trust that person, you believe in that person, and that person has an in-depth knowledge of what you want. You delegate that power of attorney. So whatever the person is doing it on your behalf with your consent. That's the position of Maazi Edoziem. We must understand this. And that was why Maazi said, whatever Maazi Edoziem said yesterday, everything you did not hear from me, because it's a representative or representation of Maazi's interest. Anything you didn't hear from me or through our publicity secretary, we don't have a spokesperson or somebody Maazi Edoziem delegates to, take it as a false statement, period. It has nothing to do with our movement, our group. Whether they invoke our names or not, anybody that goes into alliance or agreement with them, the person is misleading themselves, because if that issue or that so-called document they signed be presented in the court of law, it cannot be binding, it cannot hold water, because nobody, the representatives of IPOB structure as registered and recognized by international bodies, were not part of the agreement. This is what we are trying to say. But let me go to the subject matter. So my question to you is, these individuals that are trying to form a government in exile, do we know where they are? And do we know what country they are trying to establish or have? Because if you're forming this government, you have your base. Maybe your the very first place you're setting this government, call it your capital or your starting point. Do we have those informations before I proceed, please?
The last information that I saw, they were talking about Washington, D.C. I'm actually looking for that thing they sent somewhere. I came across it. They were talking about Washington, D.C. I believe those in the USA. Maybe the criminal in Finland is also trying to, I don't know where he's setting his own. If it is in Liverpool, I don't know where he's setting his own basically, but I know that the ones that I saw their memo, they are talking about Washington, D.C.
Okay. So do we have many factions that are trying to establish government? I mean, Ekperima, let's be specific. Ekperima, does he have people he's working with in United States? Because we need to establish so that we begin to go into details or look into how possible or how viable what they're proposing or projecting are.
Remember that these factions, they are everywhere. These criminals, they are everywhere. So,
but what is their where is their point of origin? That's my question. Whether they are everywhere, because they have to have a place they're using. Say, okay,
There
this is
is
where we
there
are.
is something I am going to bring in now so that we will read it. We will read it. I want to show it to the world as well before we actually read it. I don't know where the source is, but it talks about the creation of government in exile, and it has all this, some of these questions you're asking, so that we will be more, clear about it. Just hold on for me 1 minute. Let me upload it. I just found it now. All right. So this is what is in your screen. Let me read it out as it is, as they wrote it here. Biafra government in exile. Email pm@bgie.gov.net, and then etc. Other email. Disclaimer: reopening of Biafra House in Washington D.C. That's
Okay.
then the attention of Biafran government in exile has been drawn to a formal notice by a group called Republic of Biafra Government in Exile, titled Reopening of the Washington D.C. office,
Okay.
Global
You don't have
HQ
to go into
headquarters.
detail. That answers my question because I can start from there. We don't have to many times. I mean, if you want to run the program like in series, you may. But let's
No,
deal
you
with
can
what we
go
have.
ahead. That's
Yeah,
actually the
that
confirmation I
answered my
wanted.
question. Okay, so they're claiming that their base is in Washington D.C. That's number one. So
Yes.
now that's what they're trying to say. There and they're reopening whatever house. They must have an address, which I don't know. But let's go forward. Now we must, like I said, we must understand. There are different kinds of government in exile. What type of government in exile? Number one is when they use the word government in exile, are they talking about that is it the entire governmental parastatals are in exile? That's one question we must ask. Okay. Are they talking about that it's only the president of the government in the ex-government president? Because like I said, you are forced out. That's why I asked, who are these people involved in this? Because the last time
Yes.
I checked, somebody like Wazirika is claiming to be part of it. He cannot because he's still in Nigeria. He's not into exile. So anybody that is part of this movement that is claiming that's still in Nigeria cannot legitimately be saying that they are government in exile because you have to be forced out
No,
of
I
your
believe they
territory.
are talking about Wazirike, who was the person who actually reopened the government in exile in 2001.
But that's the argument I'm saying. Where is he? Is he
He's in
on exile?
Nigeria.
So that's what I'm
No.
saying. That can nullify that. That's why I started with the definition of exile. He cannot be in Nigeria and be claiming he's forming a government in exile. He's not in exile.
Yes.
He's in that territory. Because when we go back and find out what is the definition of government in exile, let's see. I think I have it. Government in exile refers to a temporary political group claiming to be a particular country's legitimate government. Generally, a government in exile is unable to exercise its legal power and it resides in foreign country. You must reside in foreign country. You hear that?
Yes.
And it resides in a foreign country. Government in exile frequently occur during wartime. Wartime
Yes.
occupation. We don't have these qualities. We don't have these variables in Nigeria yet. So on what basis? You cannot build a castle in thin air. On what basis are they forming government in exile? Ekpadima himself did not go on exile. He went on a visa in Finland. Nobody is chasing him. Nigerian government is not chasing him. So what does he mean by that? Number two, when you can say you are government in exile as a whole body, like they're claiming they're representing Biafra, that means their Biafran territory has been occupied by the enemies. They don't have a space to stay and function. That's another reason you can be on exile. These two arguments are not present in the Biafran movement right now. We have a space in Biafran land where Biafrans are living that have not been expelled. So these people claiming that's why I asked, where is Uwazurike? Uwazurike is still living in Biafran land. He's not on exile. So what is his pressure? What will be his argument to present to the international bodies why he has to establish this? We don't have it. And all these women in America that are fueling these things, they are comfortable, they can go back to Nigeria. Nothing is happening to them. In fact, they have Nigerian passports. So it's conflict of interest. You cannot have the passports of Nigeria and then you're claiming you have a government in exile. They cannot coexist. But let me go forward. Let me talk about America in particular. You can Google this, says government in exile law and legal definition. This is strictly based on US law, okay? It will tell you the following are factors that recognize government in exile when it comes to America. Number one, an individual or group of individuals claiming supreme authority over a country. Claiming supreme authority over a country. They don't have it because they're still operating in Nigeria. They are involved in Nigerian politics. So how can they claim supreme authority over Nigerian government? Because that's whom you're fighting. That's whom you say you're chasing you out. These are the people that are claiming that are forcing you to go into exile. But you are in relationship with them conducting election. Was it not recently that Wazirike endorsed a Northerner? Was it not recently? So, number two, an individual or group of individuals being recognized by the hosting country as the supreme authority over that country. An individual or group of individuals being recognized by the host. So, has the American government, during their legislative bodies and executive body, came out and made an announcement that they're recognizing these groups as the supreme authority over the actualization or liberation or restoration of Biafra. Do we have anything like that? I believe the answer is no. Number three, an individual or group of individuals being organized to some acts of state on behalf of the home country. Biafra has not been established. So what home country are they representing? That is why Mazi continues to use the word restoration. We have not restored Biafra. We are in the quest. Number four, a government in exile may undertake many types of action in the conduct of their daily affairs. These actions include becoming a party to a bilateral or international treaty. Do they have that with any government, the government of their host? They have not signed any treaty with America. Whether bilateral or whatever, they have not signed any treaty. They have not even met with any American government official. How much more appearing before the Senate or House of Representatives to petition their case? They are not recognized by the American government. They can be here as individuals running around claiming whatever, but the American government have not recognized them. Why do I make this statement? Neither is British government. British government could not have recognized them because if British government have recognized Nigeria, Biafra, these people, the King Charles will not be meeting with Buhari recently and having a photo op, I mean to say. America will not be allowing Nigerian government to be coming into America and having business because that will be conflict of interest. You cannot support these two people. If these people that are claiming this have a treaty with America, America cannot be in relationship with Nigeria again. Even if they are, they'll be telling them, coming out boldly and saying, we are with these people, you must do this, you must do this. Nobody is saying that. So that means this country they are claiming as their host country is not even aware of them. They don't know that they do exist. Individuals can make statements. As far as America is concerned, it's a free country. What do you mean? Freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to say. But when the rubber meets the road, then we will ask you, are you legal or not legal? This is one country where nobody will stop you on the way and ask you for your papers. It doesn't mean they don't know you do exist. But when you create a problem, they will tell you they know. So these individuals or group of people, do they have any legal or documentation that gives them the power, the authority to officially operate in America as de facto government or government in exile, as they call it? I would like to see that. If not, for now, I know the answer is no. So what they're doing is illegal. As far as the American government is concerned, does not exist. That's their own dream. And everybody is free to dream in America. America is land of dreamers. It doesn't mean that your dreams will always actualize, because if dreams were reality, beggars will be riding horses everywhere. But let me move forward. He said, amending or revising its own constitution. These are one of the things that a government in exile may undertake many types of action in the conduct of their daily affairs. This includes becoming a party to a liberal or international treaty, amending or revising its own constitution. These individuals, do they have a constitution? Has Ekwerima brought out a constitution for you people? Does he have an operating constitution? Because he's still latching himself, trying to attach himself to IPOB, which we are fending him off, telling him to know that he doesn't have anything to do with Mazin Nande or DOS, because we are not with them. So where is the constitution of autopiloters? Where is their guiding constitution? Because in the IPOB, you have what they call the code of conduct. That's our constitution. Where is the code of conduct of Ekwerima, autopiloters, or all these people, Umada or whoever running around? Because the argument, this is from American US legal law conditions.
Where is their manifesto?
Yeah, American in exile may undertake many types of action in conduct of their daily affairs. These actions include becoming a party to a bilateral or international treaty, amending or revising its own constitution. They don't even have it. How much more reversing it? Maintaining military forces. Masop, do they have a military force? Ekwerima, does he have a military force?
Maybe he's creating military in exile.
No. What he said, that is why you see this is something they have been they're trying to, navigate and plan, but it's not working. That is why they try to infiltrate ESN. But the argument somebody like me is making, why are you trying to latch yourself into somebody else's project? Create your own. Because even wherever he tables ESN, he cannot hold legitimate hold. There's no legitimate he can hold on ESN, because ESN was instituted, developed by Mazin Nandekano, and Mazin is not working with him. So it doesn't matter whether he changes his name to ESN or not. ESN is a pass and package of IPOB, other legislation from Mazin Nandekano. So he does not even have a security outfit. Mazin has created M branch. He went and created fake M branch. Mazin has a dragon squad. He came out and said he's dragon. So what I'm trying to say, let us go back to the history of this individual. He doesn't have a standing even security outfit of his own. Or is his outfit a bubago? I don't know. These are questions you need to answer us.
Yeah, yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, number 4 of what these people must have in action, some of the action they must put in place: retaining diplomatic recognition by sovereign states. Pay attention to number 4. Retaining diplomatic recognition by sovereign states. IPOB can even claim this. What do I mean? Because for any country to allow you to register your organization and you're operating under that umbrella, they recognize you.
Yes.
And that is what one of the things Lai Mohammed and Buhari have been running around like chicken with our head, trying to get these countries to proscribe us terrorists. That's the game. Yeah. Because once they proscribe us terrorists, that means they don't recognize us as a legitimate movement. Then it's a problem for us. So we are legal. We are legal in every country we registered. Ekperima, autopiloters. Tell me what country that registered under that name.
Tell
Or
us how
him.
many people are in autopilot. Where do they conduct their meetings?
Exactly. Whether it is one or two persons. Where are their structures? When we talk about structures, that's what we're talking about. They don't have.
Where is their aim and objective?
Exactly. Then you can, because before you to have that structure,
What
you will
is
have your
their
manifesto. You have your manifesto, which whether you call it your code of conduct or whatever, you're going to tell the even as a company. When I registered my non-profit organization, these are things I went to. They asked me, what are my visions? What are my missions? What do I intend to do with this company? I just didn't wake up to say I want to create a company because I want. No, what are my intentions? What do I intend to achieve? I had to submit that to US government before they gave me the approval. Then we're talking about a nation. So where are they registered? We would like to know. And what is their manifesto? You cannot be tapping when DOS speaks. You take it and make it your own. Yet you don't listen to Radio Biafra. When the DOS and IPOB under the leadership of Mazen Nandekano will showcase the photo of their graduates, of their security outfit, then you begin to use it as your own and then start saying we are all one. No, we are not one. Our ideologies are not the same. We are not working with you. We don't consult with you. Don't consult with us. So where are his structures? These are questions. All this government in all this right now. That's why I said they don't carry weight for somebody like me. Let's ask the hard questions, which is what we are doing today. Another thing they must be engaged or may be engaged into, issuing identity cards.
Asylums.
Identity, I didn't say asylum, identity cards. Because what I'm calling this, you go and listen to Ekperima, some of the things he's saying, you will tell that somebody is advising them. I think he started calling recently that he wants people to come, he wants to issue them ID cards. But you cannot do it without having an established and recognized registered organization under your own name.
Well, yeah.
Under your own name. You cannot do it under IPO because you're not a member of IPO. That is why the statement, Mazi Edozie made yesterday, one of the statements made yesterday was powerful for me. Anybody signing any agreement, anybody, whether local or international, having any relationship whatsoever, no matter how minute or big it is, and you trying to establish or explain yourself or come out to showcase yourself that you are doing it with IPOB. If you do not have me, now that Mazi is in detention, if you do not have me and my cabinet as part of that discussion, you are not dealing with IPOB, period. I mean, that settles it for me. Because when you go to the court of law, let me put myself an example. My daughter finishes her school today, which is one of the advices I've been giving her since she was 9 years old. Young lady, go to school. You're not going to school for me, you're going to school for you, even though I'm your mother. Because I cannot use your certifications. My daughter finishes tomorrow. Even though she's my daughter, I cannot use her certificate to go and look for a job.
Of course.
I can't, even though I'm her mom. Even though we have a wonderful relationship, I love her today, she does the same thing to me. I cannot use her certifications. So no matter what Ekperima does, he cannot sign any document as IPOB and he'll be binding anywhere in the world. That's the argument I'm making. It doesn't matter that he's a Biafran. Because I hear some of them say we're all Biafrans. We may all be Biafrans. All IPOB. But every Biafran is not an IPOB member. So you cannot sign document on behalf of IPOB when you're not a legitimate, recognized authority. It doesn't carry weight. You're already deceiving people. It is called brahaha. Let's move forward. The next thing they must do is allowing the formation of a new political parties. Because when you talk about government in exile, it's still politics you're dealing with. It's not a freedom fighting movement.
Yes.
Because political exile, government in exile, when you use the word government is politics, politics is government. You cannot run a government without politics. And you cannot do politics without establishing a government structure. Do you understand the argument?
Yes.
So we cannot be a freedom fighters. And then we're talking about political exile or government in exile, because that means we have equated ourselves to be in politics. Like, that's why I started from what are the
declared, what they have, for them to create this, it means they have declared Biafra.
That's what I'm saying. That we remember argument. If you go back to my statement, I said they don't have Biafra yet. We are pursuing to actualize Biafra. So when you say an exile, what do you mean? Are you saying that you were overrun, you were overthrown, and you took off, you ran? Go back to when I started this argument. That's why I went into give us that foundation, lay that foundation, because it's about politics. Because what you're saying that your government, who was already established, which is a political entity, was forced out. So now you're forming another something temporary, because the whole hope is that you want to return back and reclaim that which you had. That's why Mazi cannot double it. Mazi is not into politics. He told you that. Mazi's effort and IPOB is to restore Biafra. Then we can talk about the politics of Biafra. We are not there yet. So that is why this thing says, allowing the formation of new political parties.
Which are my false idea.
Thank you. Now, the seventh thing they must hold is instituting democratic reforms. That's when you hear them, like people like Wazirike, people like all these politicians in Nigeria, with Biafran extract. They're talking about reformation. It's politics they're dealing with. We are not in politics yet. That is why Mazi is talking about command and control. You cannot be dealing with politics and be talking about command and control. He told you it's military quasi. It's through this military quasi structure and movement, when we finally actualize Biafra, then we can go into Biafran politics. We are not there.
Or maybe Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wakes up tomorrow and say that we are declaring Biafra.
That's what I'm saying. You have to get it for whether you declare it or you actually have the territory in your hand. It must happen. He hasn't done that. You cannot begin to buy a bed when you don't have a room or a space where you can put your bed.
What I see is that there is an agenda. And I know there is a Western agenda.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish, please. Then the last but not the least but not the last, I meant to say, holding elections. Because we are talking about, these are conditions for you to be operating political government in exile in legal definition when it comes to United States. That's what I just read us. I want this to sink in before we pursue or go into whatever, whether they have an agenda or not. Everybody has an agenda. When I have my plans in the morning, it's my agenda. Whether I'm able to execute my agenda or not, it's an entirely different ball game. But again, like I stated when I started, whatever they are doing, we don't have anything to do with them. We don't have. And let us be reminded that there are different factions of people who are claiming for this movement of Biafran project. A lot of factions. So that means we have different ideologies. Because if all of us have the same ideology, we'll be in one group. So what am I preparing us for? When IPOB finally gets Biafra, let us know that we're going to have some internal, stress. Because these other factions will tell you it is not our way. I want not to prepare, but I'm not going there yet. But let us have it at the back of our minds. Because we are not all in one sync. That's why you have factions. When you have factions, that means you have different ideology, even though you may claim to be approaching the same goal. I'm going to pause here. If you have questions, you can ask me.
Okay. Thank you very much, and your input is loud and clear, and I will say it is top notch. And then the question I want to ask you now: why do you think that all of a sudden they created government in exile according to them, or they activated it according to the, if I quote this criminal in Finland verbatim, and after that he start lamenting that there are people who are criminal in America who are trying to, hijack the government in exile, or they have a power tussle there, who I don't know what exactly it is their problem. So, in this regard, what exactly do you think, in your own knowledge, is the reason why after this government in exile, he start giving you days that is going to give you Biafra?
I've listened to him in that, and I mean, this guy have made a lot of predictions, and he doesn't even have any reasoning behind it, and they will come and go. So I don't really pay great attention to his predictions, because for me, they don't carry any weight, because he doesn't even think them through before he unleashes them. Because if I must say, one of them is he's doing it, continue to lure or hold onto the people with him, so that they will have something to latch onto. Honestly, that is my major, how I'm going to look at it, because he has to continue to give them something to hold on to, or to make argument to continue to be with him, because he has failed in almost everything he has tried to do. Even when he tried to have alliances with people, they crumble right before he even starts. So, but he needs these gullibles, because all his intention of whatever he's claiming he's doing in this Biafran project, when he started, okay, he was contracted to come and disrupt, to come and destroy IPOB. Whether people accept it or not, that's a statement of fact. And at the fullness of time, I'm going to share with all of us how I got my own knowledge. Okay, that's separate for me. So I don't have any qualms. I'm not guessing. I'm not speculating that Ekperima and most of these people, all of them, most of them, not all of them, because some people are just follow, came into, they were contracted. They were principal actors who were contracted from Nigeria to come and destabilize, destroy the project. And the first thing they did was to eliminate Ikonso. People don't go that back. Ikonso was part of the factor, because Ikonso was one of the backbones when it came to ESN. So they felt forced to eliminate him. So once he was eliminated, then the next target was Mazi. Mazi was supposed to be eliminated. He was not eliminated by his grace. So, but they felt at least that's why still they have not released him. Even with the court order, they're telling you it's a security risk. How he is, everybody knows he's not. So that tells you the whole intention from the onset. And this individual that are claiming, this person that claimed that he's the disciple of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, how much has he raised alarm? How much has he spoken? How much has he put effort, genuine effort, in this thing, Nigeria not releasing Mazi, even when Mazi has been released by their court? Because he doesn't want Mazi to be released. It's because of part of the main intention why he was contracted, to make sure that Mazi is put away. And then if Mazi is put away, then DOS was going to be a game over. But they made their water low, because the structure Mazi put in has resisted, the crumbling of the whole IPO. Because once you're able to take down DOS, that's the end of it. So that is why I continue to render my praises to somebody like Mazi Edoziem and Chinas Anwuru. I don't know them personally. I've never spoken to them, but pay attention. You will understand what is going on. So moving forward. So when they are getting to the stage where both Nelly and all of them began to crumble, including Madam Bridget, Rabbit, and all of them, Ekperima has two-pronged approach or mindset. One was to destabilize and crumble IPOB movement. Okay, he came in as a Trojan horse. That was what they used him for. Trojan horse. He came inside pretending to be a beautiful gift, but all he did was to come in so that he can learn and understand how to crumble the system. That's why I call him a Trojan horse, argument. So now, so they failed. So now, Ekperima, what is in now is to cash in everything the Ekperima is doing now is to make sure that he makes as much money as he can, because those who send him because he has not been able to completely deliver, they are not going to give him whatever balance they agreed or whatever promise they gave him, whether it's political appointment or whatever. Because if you pay attention to that individual personality, two things are important to him: accumulation of wealth and position of power. These are two things that he craves for. So now, whatever they promise him, they are not going to balance him because he did not completely deliver. So, Ekperima on his own, this is a one chance. He has to milk whoever that comes along his way like cow. That's what he's doing with these people. He will tell them one thing, next minute tell another thing. He's going to buy jet and bomber. He's going to buy the bring $10,000. Nobody reacted to that. So what does he do?
The defense system. Where is it?
Yeah, he said, I'm going to buy a plane. We debunked him. I'm going to buy a warship. We debunked him. He needs $10,000 every month. Who's going to give you $10,000 every month? Are you crazy? Even in a year? Are you kidding me? So what did he do? Government in exile is going to be another tool apparatus after he tried to have alliance with Innocent Orji. He failed. So now he's trying to get into try something else. All he does is trying to see the one that will stick. If he can able to convince his gullible that he has a government in exile, he'll now start asking them, bring money to make ID card, bring money to do this. We have to buy an office. We have to rent an office. He'll begin to find a reason for them to continue to contribute money. So for me, it's money, 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 money. That's what Ekperima is in, because he knows the chiefs are up for him. He has tried, he cannot. What has happened to DOS is, yes, they were then. It's just like, I'm going to use, when somebody is fishing around, trying to, what is it called? Trying to invade and attack a system, people's system, okay? You send a fishing expedition, they're able to penetrate, but the IT person is able to notice the opening and they patch it. And when they patch it hard, So IPOB has been able to patch whatever penetration they did in DOS. They have patched them hard. So what does he do now? Those who sent him cannot balance him up. So Ekperima is in there for himself. He's going to use every tool available to him. That's how I'm reading this. Nothing more, nothing less. As much as he's still wishing in his innermost heart that Mazi does not come out. Because any day Mazi comes out, go and pay attention, mark my word down, this guy will go underground. He's aware of what he's doing. That's why he's running fast now to cash in as much as possible, because the judgment that is given to Mazi by the appeal court must stand. He must stand. He will also surprise. He must stand. I don't care. I believe in my mind that the Nigerian government is going up and have been trying to contact the Supreme Court. But if they do it, that will be the end of Nigeria. Okay?
No, they did. They did. Okay. I have that information at my disposal.
Okay. So that's what my own mind is telling me. So let's see how it's going to unfold. They know the chiefs are.
They try to contract Supreme Court in several occasions to see if Supreme Court will work in their favor, but we are waiting for them.
We are waiting to see what's going to happen. I don't like to, let's see, because what I'm going to tell you is this. Ask yourself, if they really believe that the judgment was not in accordance with their sets of laws, these were not pulled in thin air, according to their law sections, extraordinary rendition puts a serious wage, stops them from doing anything further with Mazi, is in their own law, written. So written laws, that is why laws are supreme. They are legislations. They have been enshrined in the Constitution. That's what makes Constitution. You cannot go around it.
They are gazetted.
They are gazetted. That is why it is straightforward. No ifs and no buts. They know that. That is why, ask yourself, why didn't they go to Supreme Court to challenge the decision of appeal court? Because they knew they were going to get the same result. That is why, what did they do? They're asking appeal court to put a stay. That Mazi should not be released. People should understand that there are two things. The next thing they should have done, if they believe that the judgment of the appeal court was wrong, they would have gone to Supreme Court. Right now, we are the ones now going to Supreme Court. Yeah, we are the one going to Supreme Court because we know the law is on our side. So that's all I can tell you about the Ekperima. I don't like to waste my energy on him because he's really a non-entity. It doesn't factor as far as I'm concerned. My own argument, and has been my argument and my hard bond until yesterday, which I will still want DOS to go further but from the statement they made, go more further to put a structure on how to refrain this guy from using Mazi's images and Mazi's and the name IPOB registered organization. They can use autopilot, Biafran, whatever. Even autopilot, IPOB, I don't care, because once you put that autopilot, it changes the equation. Because when it comes to registration of names, all you have to do is to alter one alphabet, it changes everything. But IPOB standing on this and the pictures of Mazi, I have a problem with that. But I thank God, I thank DOS for what they did, yes, but I warn them, this is me, to go further and put a teeth, whatever that may mean, to this, to stop them from using it. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go beyond this. So I don't know if I answered your question.
I think you did, but there is more. I want to just throw up a follow-up question.
Sure.
And I know you are here. You are in United States, and then there are people in the United States which the thief in Finland, in the name of Simon Ekpa, was working with in the United States. And apparently, he started calling them criminals. When I know that when the money was there, they were all working together. And why do you think that this guy decided to work with all those expelled members, those Mazi Nnamdi Kanu expelled by himself, and trying to create this their so-called government in exile or set it up? And at the end of the day, they start fighting. And not even that they are fighting, he is actually trying to go on his own to create his own government. The ones you call criminals in the USA are going for the same thing. Why do you think that this government in exile is so dear to them and they are fighting? Who is going to establish it among these infiltrators? Because these are infiltrators, all of them. But now, if you understand that the activities of these infiltrators, they are divided within themselves. Just like you see the one he shared his nude, that, their activities is quite different. But whatever they do, you will understand that they are still in that direction of sabotaging IPOB. But they are fighting amongst themselves. What do you think is the reason?
This is what I'm going to tell you. People come together because initially they may have one objective. Okay? Even the example is cited. When Nelly, Ekperima, Rabbi Charles, all of them came together first, I can tell you their primary concern was to bring down IPOB. That was their primary objective. That did not negate that individually they had their own, objective. Why do I say that? Because if all of them were in one accord in every ramification, superficially, internally, they wouldn't have crumbled. Immediately they felt either they were getting it or they had not gotten it. So they came together. But when things began to unravel, each individual intention began to express itself. Nelly began to talk about Idu. Well, this one is talking about autopilot. They begin to crumble. This is what really happens when criminals come together to carry a heist, go to commit a crime. Remember, they're criminals. They can't trust each other. So, but they come in for a common goal, which is going to carry out that operation at that moment. Not because they have a deep-rooted interest in what they're doing. It's just because it was convenient for them to come together to carry that operation. So once they carry the operation, that convenience is eliminated. The common enemy is eliminated. Now they go back to their individual criminal mindset. That's why they begin to fight. So let's bring it to what we're talking about. When Mazi, there was somebody I listened to yesterday, I almost cried. I wept in my heart. I said, why do they have so much hatred on this man? There are people who are against this thing we are doing, even when they know that the approach Bazi is following is the best approach so far. When you look at every other so-called group, what is galvanizing together is that I want to line up with the enemy of my enemy, just to bring that my enemy down. So that individual becomes what I call the cambium. When you talk, if you study the cells of the plants, okay, xylem, cambium, and all that. So he becomes the central holding element, common purpose of these people that hate Mazi. They may not agree with themselves. They don't like each other. But because they have seen Mazi as a central individual or structure that might be brought down, they come together. Now they find out they are not succeeding. Their individual mindset begins to express itself. That's why they're fighting each other. So Ekperima did not line up with people in America because they have a deep-rooted, concern or philosophy. No. That is why when they get together, they can't even agree, because they're coming with their individual mindsets. So that's why you see he will form alliance with somebody, he will crumble, because he's not forming an alliance with them because he's really believe, or both each parties believe in what they're doing. That's why I'm not worried about what they've done with Kaiki. Go and mark it, it will not last.
No, that one is in the drain already.
So why would I be wasting my breath? That's the main reason. That's the root cause. By the way, Ekperima, can he show you his manifesto of his plan game or whatever he says he's doing to restore Biafra? He doesn't have. The so-called people in America here, whether it's Umada or whatever you call them, can they show all their manifesto, the way forward? Because once you have a vision, you conceive a vision, then you write.
The problem I have.
Hold on. When you conceive a vision, you must write your mission statement. You have your vision statement, then you have your mission statement. What is their mission statement? How they are going to be able to execute this vision they are claiming they have received. Go ahead.
The problem I have actually is those who Mwada, believe you me, they must have extracted IPOB manifesto. Probably it is what they are using. So these people, they don't have any of their own initiatives. So the only thing they do is to actually duplicate what IPOB already put in place. So I believe in all these their shenanigans, they must have, stolen or extracted IPOB manifesto.
Maazi Judge Money, I hear you. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I don't have a problem with that because I'm not afraid of it. What do I say? Can they make it public? Even recently in Nigeria, the zoo politics, you had the APC accusing PDP that they stole their manifesto. Do you know if they can be able to prove it, it's a serious crime.
Yeah.
So they can steal our ideas or Mazi's idea, fair game. Can they publish it? That's number one. Number two, if I'm the one that conceived an idea, there are things I know or I have in my head that you don't know when it comes to implementation of it. This is where our people, some of our people miss it. I call our people the Asia Amono. What do I mean by Asia Amono? There is this adage in our place that why I think it's Okeri or something like that. This bird called Okeri is not able to form a complete nest or does not know how to make a complete nest like other birds. Because that when he was being taught how to do it, the teacher just got halfway and he said, "Oh, I got it, he ran away." Because of that. That's what some of us do.
It's always in a hurry.
You see somebody's mission statement or vision statement. That does not give you the details, the in-depth It's my mission. It's my vision. I can tweak it anytime because the whole idea came to me. That's why our people miss it. They run with the little knowledge they think they have from you. And that's why when they go out to implement it, they crash. Let me give you a typical example. You have a child or a young man or young woman who went to a person to learn a craft. Pay attention to those who stay till the duration of the time established and those who move midway. Go and check these two individuals who is going to be more successful. That's what we are dealing with. So I'm not worried about them because the master planner can always tweak his plan. He had the original mandate. He had the original blueprint. Because when you have a vision, it's not a one-way traffic. When you are given a vision, whether it is a project, the inspiration will give you many ways you can achieve it because you know you can run into obstacles. That is why you are the originator of the vision. When you're not the originator of the vision, once you run into obstacles, you abandon it. That's what is happening to them. So I'm not worried. I'm not afraid. Let us stay focused. Those who truly believe that actualization of Biafra, restoration of Biafra is going to come through Mazi, who has the ultimate mandate. Let us stay focused. Are we going to find out when they try to encroach into our territories? Of course, yes. But the activities, they have already failed. Let's stop giving credence to them like they matter. If they think they can, let them achieve Biafra. It's not about talking. It's not what you say, it's what you do. Why is it that every alliance is for him to be fighting with Bridget? Bridget, who came out and said, I fought for this bastard to be in Radio Biafra. You guys have no idea the jobs I did on that. Bridget said it on public forum. Try to crown him. Expose her secrets. And the Ekperima is calling Bridget names. And they fell apart. If Ekperima can fall apart or have problem with Bridget, there is nobody he will never have a problem with.
True.
I pay attention to stories. I pay attention to history. That is why I'm a student of documentary. I don't believe in fiction. I believe in realities. Because when you follow a behavior pattern, you can predict the future. This guy is very unstable. He has no vision. He has no mission. This guy is not an originator. He cannot originate anything. He likes to lash on people's mission and vision.
Yeah,
and then
he likes it.
Yeah, he's not original. He can't come up with anything. He's not. He doesn't have he's not an inspirator. So I'm not worried about him. It's only when people bring ideas, he wants to run on it. Let him come up with his own originality. Then I begin to pay attention to him. I will give credence to myself before I give credence to him.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we have actually sent the message because in all this ramification, what you will take home to this evening is that these people, number one, they have infiltrated IPOB and they are doing everything to make sure that they redirect the narratives. And they have created, according to them, a government in exile or activated it, whichever way they said it. And they are promising you they're going to give you their own version of Biafra. Now, the most important thing you need to know this evening, it is that the version of Biafra they have promised you, which we are actually following the footsteps of our leader, and whatever they are doing is inconsequential, and we do not actually recognize it or approve it. But the only reason why we are actually debunking everything that they do, they are using our name, they are using Ohamadike's name. And in that regard, we are doing what we are doing so that the world may understand. Because like I said, before. The world is hard in hearing when it comes to a complainant. But when it comes to those victors, they will actually listen so quickly. But when it comes to those who are being victimized, they are very hard in hearing. That's why we are following up our, our complaint, following up our exposition, making sure that we do not actually let them in, so that we know whenever they tell you they have negotiated your independent or your freedom or their Biafra version, you must know they have sold you. If eventually, if eventually they go through, they are going according to the information. But for now, money making scheme is what the man in Finland is up for. Money making scheme. He introduced it just like Hush Puppy, Mohammed Abbas. That is exactly what you see living in Finland. Hush Puppy. There is no difference between both of them, because Hush Puppy bring up an idea of scamming people. They are giving him their money. Simon Ekpa brought out the idea of scamming people. They are giving him their money. Hush Puppy is using people's, businesses to scam others. Simon Ekpa is using people's organization, institution to scam people. So there is no difference. That is the reason why that name Mohammed Abbas, he loved it so much, because Abbas Ramon, or Abbas Ramon, which is Hush Puppy, is the man whom he want to be like. He want to be famous. He want to be on the limelight. He want to be rich. So he's doing everything that he can to actually be there. For those of you who are very ignorant and not reasonable, understand that the Western agenda will actually, the only thing they want, it is not like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, if he agree to their terms and conditions today, that he will not give them, they will not give him Biafra. But what type of terms and condition is that they are putting to the table? Like I said before, anybody who is actually fighting for, freedom, there is always something on the table for them. It is up to you. Is this what your obligation or your aims and objectives? Is this satisfying these aims and objectives?
I know, I don't want you to come. Let me show this to let you know that all these efforts we are making, they pay off. I'm going to read this extract from Sahara Reporters. It says, Biafran government in exile formed by self-professed disciple of Nnamdi Kanu Ekpa is a scam. Ignore it. IPOB tells Nigerians. So this is this is right. So what I'm trying to say, that let us do researches. This thing, people know that this guy is a scam. This thing is from Sahara Reporters. That's where I'm reading it from. So people know that this guy is a scam.
Of course.
They know. So he can be pretending all he wants. People know the truth.
And scammers, fellow scammers are joining him to actually give him accolade from, from the other side.
That does not make it to stand. That's the point I'm trying to make. It wouldn't make it to stand. He will not give it this thing to stand. No. Whether he claims it or not, that's why I said talk is cheap. You can say what you want. That does not mean that is the truth.
Exactly.
It doesn't make it the truth. And that's what we must understand. So I'm not worried about.
I like that news. I like that news that you just read now. I didn't even see that one.
If you check it on, I think it's August this year. Check it, you will see it. Let me see whether I can pull it. I'll give you I don't know. I just bumped into it. He says, that's what it's by Sahara Report. If you type the Sahara Report, but you can type, Sahara Report on self-acclaimed government in exile. I think I should be able to pull it up because I'm looking for something else.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you type that on Google, you will get it. You know.
No, that is our people will research it on their own. They will
Yeah,
research it on their
it is
own.
right there.
It is
So they
there.
know.
Yeah. So the
Sorry.
most important thing is that
Let's
we
continue to
have
do what we're doing. It's paying
exactly,
off. People are listening. You
of
know.
course.
You don't expect him to just give up
No, he wouldn't. Of
because he
course,
had,
we know
he
what.
knows. He has failed. That is why somebody like me says it's not over until it's over. We cannot say we have done this, then we leave this idiot
So,
to be doing bullshit. Anyway.
so Marian Heather, there is something I want us to deliberate on before we actually call it a day, because we have actually achieved so much. And I'm having a call.
Yeah, sure.
The
Take
caller.
the call. Maybe the caller can give us an input. Don't forget what you wanted to say anyway.
All right. The caller on the line, please come in your name and where you're calling from. Use 3 minutes actually to round up, because we want to, we are not taking call actually. We want to talk on something, but I want to bring you in.
Okay. Good evening, Judge Money.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's Mass Justice.
Oh, Justice.
Yes.
How are you?
It
It's
has
been
been
a
so
while.
long. Fine, how are you?
I'm okay. It's been a while. Where have you been?
I've been around. I've been watching this. So most times I don't get the alert, and the other time I get alert, I always watch on the background, because I always enjoy the contribution of Madam Elder. So I feel more comfortable listening than talking.
All right. Yeah. What is your contribution? Nice to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. I just, with a small opinion of mine, Simon Ekpa, the way and the cohort, it's not only him. There is a circle of those hired gangs. This attack is by Nigerian government, and especially the southern governors. It's not that this formation of government in exile or IDU and all these agendas, they are not. These are missiles. They are, trying to fire at the real line in order to draw the train. That is all they are after. So it's just a strategy. They are hired. It's not that they hated Mazi, but this guy was contacted. Madam, whatever she's called, the ones in US, they're all contacted. So they're on assignment. I understand, I agree with what Madam Elder said, that they don't have similar or the same understanding or the same perspective or idea or the same ideology. Their movement is not coalesced under one single ideology. All of them are, different mechanics from different shades, and they assemble them. They just assemble them with the different tools. So this is what is happening. But the target is one thing: make the IPOB irrelevant.
Yes.
And go away.
The effort they are making now is they have seen that this judgment have given IPOB upper hand. And the government is trying to delay the release of Mazi. So they are now trying to, see if they can make, even if Mazi is eventually released, IPOB will never recover. And that is all they are doing. Have nothing. Even the promise, even if they get Biafra today, will be happy. But they can't. There's nobody that they have entered into agreement on conditions to give us Biafra. They cannot. Which office, which embassy, which foreign mission? You can look at the caliber of men and women who are talking and you say they are fighting for Biafra. They are not. They have nothing to offer. That's my opinion. Those thugs, hired thugs, you know, they are bandits, better called bandits.
Amajiris, they are Amajiris.
Yes, they're better called bandits. They're just there to destroy and steal, you know, and run. Well, you know, if the owner of the house comes back with a heavy gun, that's what they are trying to do.
Hit and run.
So they are hired. They hit and run.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother.
I also want to use this opportunity, madam, to express because you try a lot, you know, to educate Biafrans, you know, especially the contribution you make in different platforms. It's entertaining and very, you know, encouraging and motivating. Thank you a lot.
God bless you, my brother.
You know, each time I come on, each time I be able to catch you online, I enjoy the exposition. More grace to your help, my brother. Thank you a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. Your words are very refreshing. I do what I do because I feel strongly about it. But to buttress your points right now, let me read us again another version of explanation of what government in exile means. He said, their homeland has been invaded. They fought valiantly, but they were ultimately overwhelmed. So I'm reading this so that we see that for them to even establish government in exile, they have not reached the criteria.
Exactly.
Their homeland has been invaded. Yeah, their homeland has been invaded. They fought valiantly, but they were ultimately overwhelmed, but they refused to admit defeat quite yet. They know that they have allies abroad. That was I asked. Who are their allies?
Exactly.
I asked that question. And it is only a matter of time before they can muster the support to fight back. That's what government in exile is. You're going to, because you have been forced out, because it's an action of force. You have been forced to move away from where you are.
Banishment comes in. The banishment, like Afghanistan.
Exactly. Then you can go out there, and then before then, there has to be a government that has accepted you, allowed you to come as a government body, not as individual, because they will allow you to stay in their government to begin to organize yourself. That means they have thrown their support for you or with you, because they now can allow you to stay there to muster muscle, support you in every way, shape, and form. Then the whole ultimate aim for you to return back to reclaim your government or the territory. Okay, that's why I said that Britain America cannot have not entered into agreement with them, any one of them, no matter the faction, all these world powers, because if they have, they will not be entertaining Buhari's government in their own country. You cannot serve two masters. They cannot come out publicly, be in agreement with them, whether it's secretly or anything, and then be allowing Nigerian government to have relationship with them. It can't happen. Go and look at people that had government in exile. When Afghanistan had government in exile, we had people that left Afghan and came to America. That is how America was able to go back to help them to re-establish the severe relationship with the Taliban and whatever. And those people that run out here, America worked with them over years before they could relaunch an attack to reclaim Afghanistan before this total collapse again. That was how America went in. They didn't just go in. They went in with those people, officials that came out here, they gave them asylum, worked with them, and then went back for them to reclaim Afghanistan. That was the invasion of America. So they have not made these criteria. And then he went on to say that this argument here, or this definition here, when I'm about to say that. So for today, the leadership of the nation and whatever citizenry they can bring along make a hasty retreat, taking refuge into a nearby allied nation. So where are the refugees? Who is taking them in? Why much of their citizens are left behind, possibly forming a land resistance and waging a war from within? Do we have a blown out war in Biafra land?
And that is exactly the reason why they say if they have wide support.
That is why they're insinuating all this nonsense. Our people must get it and stop supporting them. They're trying to insinuate KO so that they can legitimize it. Okay, we have a full-blown war, and that is why IPOB in their wisdom, Mazi said, "I want Biafran land to be calm," because Mazi already pre-knowledge their activities. If you allow Biafran land to go into chaos, then they can begin to say, "Okay, we have refugees. People are fleeing. Our land is invaded." So our people in Biafra land, this is my message to them. Stop being party to these people to create confusion in our land. That was why, and that is why Mazi said, "I want Biafran land to be calm." And that is why IPOB stopped this Monday sit at home, because they were using it to create confusion. People must understand the reasoning behind all these things. Not that they don't want us to support. That's why it's voluntary. They're not going to enforce it. Because when you bring enforcement, then people are going to be killed and things are going to be destroyed. But because the experiment cohort want to create confusion, they began to say they want to, enforce it.
Yes.
So that tells you he's not working with us.
That's why he said in several occasions that he is going to, we're going to war. He wants fighter jet. He wants this and that.
Exactly, because this is what he's trying to achieve. Because they have not reached any single criteria to establish government in exile for any community or any country to, notice them or permit them. They don't have the status quo. They don't.
They don't even have support of Biafrans.
Exactly. So that is why. Look, let me tell you, most of us are not paying attention. There's a reason why once in a while, IPOB, under the leadership of Mazi, our Ohamadike, through the auction, the permission he gave to Edoziem, once in a while they will make a pronouncement, shut down in Biafra land, and Biafra is down. Do you know what they're trying to show the world powers or the showcase to the communities and even Nigeria? We are the ones that in this game. We got it. But when Ekperima will give his own distance, Biafrans will ignore him. That means Biafrans are not are supporting him. Just like what I read here.
If they have supporters, if their supporters is too massive, it's 3,000 people.
It's not even, look at what they say. They know that they have allies abroad, and it's only a matter of time before they can muster the support to fight back. So for today, the leadership of the nation and whatever city they can bring along, make a hasty retreat, taking refuge into a nearby allies, while much of their citizens are left behind, possibly forming resistance and waging war from within. They work to muster up support and mount a counter attack from outside to reclaim their homeland from the enemies. They don't have this. If anybody can claim this, it's IPOB, because when IPOB sends an instruction, people obey. So they have the support of the masses, even though we are not claiming to be government in exile. But if you look at some of the criteria, we already met them. But because we are not political in nature, we are not claiming, we are not invoking that word government in exile, because what we are trying to do now is we are like quasi-military. We are trying to get the government first established. No, we are trying to get our the restoration in our hand. Then we can begin to talk about the government. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this kind of, I'm trying to elaborate on what my brother said, who spoke last. So he said frequently, anytime a princess, that's a different thing. It's not that nothing. So this brings us to explain it furthermore that IPOB, under the leadership of Martin Nadekano, knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Yes, there is somebody.
They may not come out to do this explanation the way we are doing it. They got it. They got it together. They know what they're doing.
Of course, they do.
Another this says a government in exile is a political group that claims to be a country or semi-sovereign state legitimate government, but is unable to exercise legal power and instead resides in a foreign country.
Yes.
They don't meet this.
There is somebody who write something that is also, caught my attention. His name Karagold. He said, is this also why he is advertising asylum meeting?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, it is. Because the asylum meeting is actually a means of exploiting more money from people, plus
Exactly.
to now actually show, to try his luck and see if he will show the world these are amount of people supporting us.
No.
We have
Let me tell you the two. This is my take in it. Two prongs reason why you're doing asylum meeting. One, he's trying to galvanize to make money. Okay, that's always his primary aim. Number two, okay, because he knows. Why am I saying that? It's not about recognition. Anybody that comes under his platform or under his umbrella to get asylum, he doesn't have a legitimate paper to give them that will carry weight to give the person asylum, because he's not registered, he's not recognized. These are the key words. IPOB is not helping people with asylum to get it because they just say we're IPOB. They're registered. Not and for you to be registered in a country or community, that means they recognize you. They have recognized you.
Yes.
Let him go and register. Yeah, so let him go and register autopilot in countries. What he's trying to do is to put the cart before the horse. You must register before you can have a legitimate paper to give these people. So he's lying to them. Fallacy, deception, because his ultimate aim is to make money from these individuals and possibly take their information and give to DSS.
I saw somewhere. Exactly. You are right. I saw somewhere when somebody is asking Simon, where is the money we gave you to buy us super token? And the air defense system. I saw somewhere where somebody wrote that thing. They're asking him where. It's a comment. I think they made a comment where they posted his, all this nonsense he posts every day. Somebody asked him, where is the money we have given you to buy us all these military arsenals that you say you are going to buy?
They need to be asking him those questions anyway.
Exactly.
I don't know
because
why
a lot of them are waking up from their slumber.
That is why we have to continue to be pushing these narratives, to open their minds, to think, to ask questions. Ask questions.
Remember, there is something you told me one day.
What is that?
I asked you.
I can say a lot of things. I know I can talk. I say a lot of things.
Remember, you told me the other day. I told you that, I don't think. I think we should leave this guy to have a natural death. That in this regard, because the more we speak about him, the more he is actually having something else to say. So you told me that it is important we continue to do this because it makes him to talk before he think.
Yes, that is called you force somebody to make mistakes. That's what we are doing. It's a strategy. You force individual to make a mistake because he wants to answer to everything. In the process, he's making himself open and wide and it's subject to mistakes. You don't know? That is why you have.
That's exactly what they planned for the DOS.
Let me tell you this. These are some of the these are psychology. Let me tell you, there's a reason why when you come to organization, you have secretary that speak on your behalf. Okay, these individuals are people that are crafty with words. They articulate. They are deliberate in what they say. This is their own field of study. Okay. So that is why you have your secretary to speak on your behalf. Because if anytime you leave, even presidential candidates are going on in Nigeria now, anytime you leave them before the press, they'll be gaffing left and right. What do I mean? They'll be making mistakes. Because they're politicians, they're not policy people. They're politicians. You get them raw, and then you can poke their statement from every angle and mess them up. That is why you have the second. Yeah, because that's where you can then see the public relation coming to clean up their mess. Ask yourself, why are they making a lot of messes? That's what we are forcing this bastard to do.
Yes.
You can't leave him alone. Let him continue to talk because he's stupid. He's an empty head.
There is this one of his slave, if not him himself, in the YouTube, he's been writing rubbish here. And I've been waiting for him to write it up to maybe 100 so that I will make him start afresh. So I think he's been writing. One person is the one fighting for a whole autopilot and 6,000 watch in a minute. So let me actually
I don't
make
even
him
give.
to
Let me tell you, I don't even give a hoot at what they say. I've seen them. When I speak, they try to make. I don't react to. Look, let me tell people one or two things. One thing about me. I don't speak. I don't let people know exactly my profile. Not yet. But let me tell you, I know a lot. I see a lot. I only react to things that I think has a little bit of weight in my life.
Yeah.
I seriously believe in the principle of you ignore foolishness. I ignore foolishness. Anything people say about me or they have been saying on social media, I ignore them because they're useless. So I don't have time for stupidity. You see my mind? I have this saying, I do not allow people to buy space in my mind without paying for it.
Yeah.
Go and write it down. I don't allow anything or even individuals to buy space or occupy space in my mind without paying for it. So what am I saying? I deliberately allow things that will occupy my mind. I have the ability to shut things, even when I'm with you discussing. If you pay attention, somebody may say something, I act like I didn't hear. I heard the person. Unless when you call my attention, I say, I tell you I had it. Because that thing that person said at that time is useless to me. Why am I going to answer to it? That's me. Call it arrogance, maybe, but that's my way of life. I don't pay attention to stupid things. Because I believe
you choose what to filter in.
Yeah, because I believe there are a lot of good things, important things I should engage my mind to, not stupidity.
Yes.
Like I said, if this nonsense they did with Koiki, if they did not invoke, if they did not invoke IPOB name or Mazi's image, I wouldn't have said a thing. I'm telling you, because you see my
that's true. That's true.
I'm not making it. That's who I am.
No, and
even when I'm in relationship, even if I'm in relationship with somebody, I can be there. You're saying something, I will keep quiet. Like I love to talk. So anytime you see me not saying something, that means that thing is not important to me. I don't care. And when I say I don't care, I really don't care. That's me. I don't pretend. So this idiot.
That's the way it is. There is something I was, and you asked me not to forget this. There is something I was actually trying to ask you before Justice called, Mazi Justice called. That thing I was trying to ask you, have you seen a voice note making round on social media? Which the autopilot labeled this, this is it what it was a WhatsApp because it came to my WhatsApp, it came to my WhatsApp. I received that WhatsApp from direct. So I saw it as a video, again, a voice video making round on social media, where they say that they're talking about Sapele, talking about Lion, talking about Benjamin and Madubu, talking about how they are now trying to instigate people about against Benjamin and what they are doing with ESN. Now,
I don't think I've been exposed to it. I'm not sure. I don't think, because I would have remembered. No, yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear it?
No,
I
I've not
didn't
been
take it
exposed to it.
seriously. I heard that thing. I didn't take it seriously because I believe that it is that time that anybody who does not want to understand, because I have on several occasions made it clear. I'm not no longer using figurative for them. I state it clear that Simon and his criminal gangs infiltrated our men on ground. And you heard when Nelly was talking about where is in Jenje. Where is Sapele? Lion,
Mhm.
lion, Ebonya Bolono. Chukwu
Mhm.
Abugo Bono, lion, lion,
Mhm.
JJS.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm. Mhm.
you
I have
remember
that.
that it is the same, all these boys that Nelly was calling their names at that time.
Mhm.
It is the same names that this guy, the only thing that is different from the names that the person who was making that video as an infiltrated idiot who took an oath to defend Biafra land but decided to work for infiltrator. Now, the person who is making that video call exactly the names of all these people whom Nelly mentioned.
Yeah.
And remember during that time, Channels TV carried this news about Lion Lion. After Nelly talking all those rubbish she talk, where is Njenje? Where is 50? Where he called the names of all these criminals that they are using. Now, somebody made a voice note that it is Benjamin Madubugu and China Samoru that they are killing our ESN, and this, infiltrated brains in the media space, Biafra sympathizers and passerbys, began to share it because these people, they are looking for every possible means to actually make Biafrans to believe that the DOS is not the real deal, that they are, that the DOS is not working for the restoration of Biafra, that they are. That is the reason why they have put all these things together, forgetting that they did it before through Nelly. When Simon is Nelly and Nelly is Simon, that time he promised us, that was actually when they did these things.
He
They
did not
actually
promise my
replaced
brother.
it.
He did not promise us. He promised their God because he's not working. Whatever he's doing, I don't believe that we are part of it. He promised them. Yep.
Oh
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever,
He
because
promised them
whatever,
that.
because whatever Simon is projecting or proposing has nothing to do with IPOB agenda. So whatever
Exactly.
promise he's making is not for us, it's for his gullibles.
Yeah, it's for his infiltrated minds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he promised them that he is Nelly and Nelly is him. And Nelly came out and call the names of all these people. Tell them that Chukwu Abugo phone. The next day,
Exactly.
they carry it
Exactly.
because they were these people were making a camp in a building. They were actually attacked by the military, joint force military in
Mm-hmm.
Anambra State. That they
Mm-hmm.
say Lion Lion run away from that place.
Mm-hmm.
After Nelly told him to catch US, Chukwu Abugo gone,
Yeah,
Ebonya
not just
Bulo.
not just USA. Yeah, I heard
Yes,
that one. It was all
because
over.
remember that that time, Nelly, the reason why Nelly actually started fighting with these people, Lion Lion, because they are their top commanders. These infiltrated there are Nelly's and the Simon's top commanders in their own camp.
But even
Now,
Nelly, there was a place Nelly said that she expressed like she got tired of Ekperema extorting money from her for
yes,
projects that she never saw. That was the main reason. She
remember,
said she said that she started complaining, asking questions, and then that was why Ekperema went to Eleonora. Yeah,
no, remember, Nelly was being exploited by Ekperima.
exactly.
Remember, 747 was still in cash when they started. $747,000. That's how they made their first step towards the
Exactly.
camp.
Exactly.
Now, that's how they recruited Lion Lion. And now, when that money got finished, and the Lion started complaining, and the Berima is taking this money, is the one who is the middleman. He take the money to recruit. Now, I think Lion started complaining that about money. That Nelly came and told her, Why are you calling the name of Canon Takano? Why are you calling the name of DOS? You want to make people believe that DOS is the one funding the ESN. Lion, chukwu abugo go onu. Lion, iwo onye abụla ọnụ. Ga jụọ ese iko nke ga agwụgo. Then after, they invaded them in the whichever camp that Nelly and Simon kept them, or house. Which all these people, they started using the name of ESN, using the regalia of ESN, acting like ESN.
That is what I'm trying to say. That's where we've got to make people know that they are not part of us. Let him establish his own, let him establish his own, have his own structure, his own manifesto. I don't have a problem with him. I will not interject. I will not say a word. That's my own. I continue. I'm very direct in what I'm saying. You know, I don't mix it up. Because I'm focused. I know what I'm trying to say. Let them establish their own. I don't have a problem. Mazi has said that. But you cannot attach yourself to something you did not start, something you have no input, something you are not part of, and then you're claiming when they graduate their students, you claim we are all one now. We are all one now. What do you mean we are all one now? Are you not the one that said you expelled the same DOS? Are you not the one that said, hold on, was he not the one that said he expelled DOS, had vote of no confidence on them? Was he not the one that said that China Sanwo-Olu is a thief? Was he not the one that have been calling them in Zama? Was he not the one that said that DOS do not exist anymore? Was he not the one that said that people should not be listening to Radio Biafra? Was he not the one that said that people should not be paying into the coffers of IPOB so that we carry on the project of ESN? Was he not the one? So now ESN, under the leadership of IPOB, bill propelled by Mazi Nworu, then have a graduate, and then you're coming to say we are one. Can people ask questions? These are my arguments. You cannot eat your cake and have it and have some put back into the refrigerator. It's impossible. Once you eat your cake, you have eaten your cake. These are my arguments.
Remember that the reason why there is so much criminality in Biafra land was when they took out that 750, they brought it out. Dishing out. Then the boys, they are dishing it out to believe that no, when the money got finished, that's how they started actually dividing themselves, because they have the impression that this money can never finish. Then these boys now turn around and start doing their own business, doing their own biddings. Now they have to send them to go and kidnap. Go and do one or two to make money because the original money is finished. So that is how this crime escalated in Biafra land in this regard. Simon, Nelly, Bridget, Oyibo, Labi Charles, and all these people that is sponsoring them. Now they want to act like they are not aware that Nelly mentioned the name of all these people that is making round on this voice note, that this one of their criminal actually tried to use it to actually, build a new argument. But the only thing that they put there is Benjamin Madobu. That is the only thing that is so, they added to make it look different from what Nelly did last. Is it, I think 4 months ago, or 4 or 5 months ago. That is the reason why they added Benjamin Madobu, saying that he's the one working with the zoo government that is killing ESN. Remember that every criminal, of course, you see the one that I told you, there is a criminal they are burning in Enugu State. This, I think I told you about it. Those who are going to, Ndin teacher, Faji teacher and the POS, Ejidefa. So, in this regard, this is exactly how all these things escalated, went out of hand. Now, I want to ask you a question. Why do you think that...
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Why do you think that these people now try to bring these things back to the media, even though they know that Nelly have done this before? Why are they doing it again?
Can you ask the question again, please? I was distracted a little bit.
Correct. Why do you think, what do you think is the reason why they have that criminal made that voice note to come and say that Benjamin and Madubugu, Chinasa Moru, they are working with military? He called Njenje, he called 50, called Lion, all these people who terrorized Biafra land. He mentioned their name the same way Nelly mentioned their name 5 months ago. Why do you think that they actually go through that route? What are they trying to achieve recently? Even
What
though
they're trying to achieve, because when they made that first note, which Nelly made, and even Ekperima recently, not too long ago, has come out to mention those individuals, not all of them, but some of them. And then what you see is going on in Biafra land is now, but after announcement was made on Radio Biafra that they're kind of setting up a citizens arrest of these criminals to root them out from us, among us, to root them out, because they're trying to give bad image and impression about the struggle we're in. And then you find out that, or you observe, you can see that some of those individuals are now being either killed or apprehended. So now what Ekperima is trying to do is distance himself or confuse people, like he was not the one that has been part of what was going on, and that he was not the one that had been supporting them through furnishing finances to them, and moreover coming out on social media, which again I don't understand. I don't know whether this guy has a memory relapse, that his videos are all over. Even if he deletes it from his own page, there are people that have captured all those videos where he came out threatening to fight or destroy Nigerian military or security outfits, how he was coming back to come and destroy them or debunk them or do whatever he said he was coming to do, which he never. And then he said, oh, we are going to start our woto. We're going to start killing them. All those things. So now he kind of is realizing that he's standing alone. First of all, some of his allies like Bridget, he's having problem with them. Somebody like Innocent Oji, he tried to ally with, he's having problem with them. So it's like his circles are shrinking every minute. So what is he trying to do? Thinking he's smart. He's trying to distance himself or run away, but he cannot. That's why he's doing this, nothing more, nothing less. Okay. One, trying to distance himself, and then in the same breath, continue to galvanize and milk whatever remnant is left that are still believing in him. Financial gain. These are two prongs of approach of Ekperima. It doesn't matter how you slice it. It doesn't matter the approach you take. He has only one set goals, or few set goals, I meant to say. Maintaining power, whatever he may look at it as maintaining power, or inserting himself to be a power force, and then ultimately milking people financially out of whatever grip he has. This is Ekperima in a nutshell. It doesn't matter what you bring in, that's who he is. These are the things that drives him to do whatever he's doing. And once you're able to understand that, he gives you an insight in who he is. These are his objectives. Take it away, it doesn't exist. He has no interest. That's what I mean.
Correct. You are very correct. And Madam Heather, I want you to actually give us your closing remark, because we have actually lasted. I promised you was
I know you promised me 1 hour. That's, you can see if you pay attention to my voice, I'm beginning to sound a little bit thirsty. That's what I want, because I want to run away. I got to get ready for work. I got to cook and then get ready for work. So because I promised an hour, but that's okay. One thing with me is once I get into something I'm excited in, I like to talk. That's one thing. Whether it's a good thing or bad, I don't know. My daughter thinks I talk a lot. I get carried away. I can be passionate about things. I do. So I'm not regretting every minute I spent, but I'm looking at my time. That's why if I'm sounding thirsty, I must apologize. That's why it's coming from. Not that I would love to discuss this from now till tomorrow, but I don't have the pleasure of time. We can always come back. And I believe in giving people, when it's like giving information, you don't want to overwhelm your listeners. You want to give them, let them digest it, you come back, because in that way, they're able to completely assimilate, regurgitate, and then make use of the information you're giving them. When you overwhelm them, they can lose some of the details which you want them to capture. So having said that, well, I'll close by saying that there are predominant things that people seeking government in exile must put in place, structures put in place. One, I listed a whole bunch of about 8 of them, but most important thing is that you must have a government or a country that will recognize you as a host country, that will host you. Because government in exile is either the president of that, it comes from an existing government or structure that have been overwhelmed and forced into exile. Either the individuals voluntarily or a whole government voluntarily, involuntarily, I meant to say, we are forced into exile. So, having said that, these people have not met those criteria because Biafra land is still not invaded by Nigerian. There's not a full-blown war going on in Biafra land. So you cannot, there's no criteria for that. And those people, some of the people that are pulling the strings still lives in Nigeria and still lives in Biafra and working freely. So they cannot claim that they are forced into exile. And the second thing is that they don't have a host country that have recognized them to say, okay, we are hosting you. You can come here and begin to re-strategize yourself and see, and then we're going to support you so that whenever we think you're ready, we can go back to, for you to reclaim your lost territory or your lost glory or power. That's what we're dealing with government in exile. They don't have anything like that. So all they're trying to do is to foment trouble, and the whole objective is to create confusion and mayhem that Nigerian government may want to use an article or something for the upcoming court outing we have with them. That is why I'm admonishing us and telling us, with all due respect, to let us desist from giving our enemies what they need or what they think they will need to defeat us. So we must maintain calmness in Biafra land. Mazi is coming out. The law is on our side. We will not want to muddle the waters. That's my advice to all of us. As for those who continue to sponsor these things, from Ekperima to Bridget and all of them, my advice to us is this. I always argue that the name they called Ekwensu, whether you agree he's Satan or he's a different deity, fine. But my thing is that name is very interesting. When you break it down in our dialect, it means when you agree, confusion will start. That's what it means. You have to be in agreement. You have to accept before it starts. Exactly. So let us not quail so that it will not swirl. That's where I'm going. Yeah. So let us not allow these individuals to use us to destroy us. That's where I'm coming in. Because the sponsors can bring in their money, bring in their ideas. Listen, if I'm you people back in diaspora, take their money, don't work with them so that you can really walla hanala. Don't work with them. If they're stupid enough to give you the money, do not work with them. Take it and shove it to their mouth. Give them a lesson. You don't have to say a word, but don't execute anything on their behalf. In that case, you're not querele, you're not being part of it. Okay? Yes. If they're stupid to give you money, take the money. Play on them too. Because they're trying to play on your life. Look at the individuals that have been mentioned. They're either in captivity today or they have been killed. But the sponsors are somewhere in diaspora. Okay.
And the worst part of it, they don't have a lawyer to represent them.
They don't even talk about you when you are apprehended or dead. They act like you never existed. Meanwhile, they used you. When was the last time Nelly talked about any of them when they are killed? She goes into mute. The same thing with Ekperima. So learn from what happened to your comrades. Stop allowing yourself to be used to destroy us. Let our objective be focused on Biafra movement, getting Biafra through IPOB. If any other person is telling you, can you ask them to show you their blueprint? How are they getting this Biafra for you? Not aligning themselves or attaching themselves to somebody else, project. Let Ekperima show you his blueprint. Let him have a conference with you publicly. Tell you his structure, how he started, his criteria, the governing, policies. How does he want to do? Where did he start from? Not that I started with Mazin Nandekan and Mazin Nandekan's disciple. You don't choose somebody to be their disciple. The person will choose you to be his or her disciple. You don't choose somebody to be your master. Somebody will choose you to be their servant. I don't remember the last time somebody went even during the slave trade, you go into the slave market and say, I want you to buy me. I want you to be my master. No. It's the other way around. The master will be the one to choose you as the slave or the servant. So he's not the one to tell you that his Maazi is a disciple. Maazi will be the one to tell us if Ekperima is disciples or not. And he hasn't said that. So let people pay attention. He's not Maazi's disciple. He's not working with Maazi's structure. He has nothing to do with Maazi's structure. He's just a thief trying to glean onto something somebody has established. I'm going to rest on this case, my dear brother. God bless you. And thank you all for listening and for giving me the opportunity. I consider it a privilege because I'm not smarter than all of you. God bless you all.
Thank you very much for coming and for acknowledging it. And more oil to your elbow. You have done well. Thank you very
I'm
much.
going to leave now. With all due respect, I'm going to leave. Thank you.
All right. All right. You can take your bow now. You have done. We have actually done a lot, but there is something I think I am missing here. It is this man who has a blue background. Whoever that knows that guy who call himself a pastor, that man, I believe that wherever he is, he should be apprehended for actually constructively promoting the criminality going on in Biafra land in the name of his prophecies. Because you know, Nigeria, they are so blinded by religion that they cannot see even when somebody is standing in the altar using microphone to call, to actually instigate criminality. They don't know these things because they don't have intelligence. They do not have intelligence. And that is the reason why some, countries like the United States will just come and announce there is a potential terrorist attack in Abuja. Because they know that you don't have intelligence. They know that you don't have government. They know that you don't have representatives. So they have to say it openly because they know that there is nobody that they respect in that country. That is how it is. If they have intelligence, so many pastors supposed to be arrested today. So many of them. Some people, they use their status to actually rape our children without the parents knowing. When they find out, they conceal it because it is their pastor. It is their Jesus Christ. So in this regard, this guy need to be brought for questioning for actually constructively using his platform to promote the activities of criminals in Biafra land. That is exactly what I have forgotten. I am not going to deliberate on that much because the self-acclaim is inconsequential. He is inconsequential, but when you pose a security threat on our people, we might want to make you a little bit consequential. So, great Biafrans all over the world, lovers of freedom, of course, you have grabbed that information, and of course, I have taken your mind to it when Nelly was calling Butuzo, Njenje, King Jaja of Bobo, Lion, all these people she mentioned. You shouldn't forget, so that when you get across that, what Autopilot called a leaked video or a leaked voice note, you should know that it never started today. It has been their modus operandi, how they are actually trying to, make people to move away from their savior and embrace their destruction, which is Nigeria's slogan. Embrace your destruction, disregard your savior. That is the motto of Nigeria. And until they realize that it is a problem to them, they will never correct it. But for now, we will continue what we are doing. We are not backing down. We are not going anywhere. We are calling on international community. United Nations gave Nigeria 6 months to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And that 6 months is almost elapsed. And we are actually going to continue to actually remind them that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu have committed no crime and he must be released. And the court of law in Nigeria have released, discharged, and acquitted Mazen Nnamdi Kanu of all the frivolous charges they leveled against him. It is just up to Nigeria to do the right thing. But they are not doing the right thing because they are a lawless country. There is no judiciary. They don't obey the rule of law. They don't respect the role of law. So let us remind the world something before we call it a day.
Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, a British national and political activist who was traveling on a British passport when he was kidnapped and tortured in Kenya for 8 days by Kenyan and Nigerian government-sponsored criminals. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was renditioned to Nigeria on a government-chartered flight without extradition process. Nigerian government continues to hold Mazen Nnamdi Kanu captive under severe torture, treating him worse than a condemned criminal. In spite of all the protests around the world condemning extraordinary rendition of this great eloquent political activist and demanding for his release, Boris Johnson's British government continues to do nothing and says nothing to free Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, who is a British citizen and who is being tortured to death by the Islamist fundamentalist-controlled government of Nigeria. The questions now are: what does Boris Johnson's British government know about the planned kidnapping, torture, and rendition of this British citizen in the hands of the Islamist fundamentalist-controlled Nigerian government? Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is neither a criminal nor a wanted person in the civilized world. Why is Boris Johnson's British government romanticizing with this Islamist fundamentalist-controlled Nigerian government who are sponsoring terrorism around the world? Why is the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Miss Katrina Liang, romanticizing holding hands and taking photos with the terrorists who are holding her own British citizen captive unlawfully? If Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is to be a white British citizen, would he be abandoned to die in a foreign country for committing no crime? The answer is no. For asking for the freedom of Biafran people in Nigeria, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has committed no crime known to law. For practicing Judaism, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has committed no crime known to law. Calling on the world leaders to free Mazen Nnamdi Kanu now to avoid the dire consequences if Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is killed by Nigerian government and her accomplices. Free Mazen Nnamdi Kanu now. Let Biafra go. What the Almighty God cannot do does not exist. This message is supported by the human rights advocates.
The message I'm putting across tonight is that the information pertaining to IPOB comes only through two sources. Let me put it this way: 2 sources of 3. The first one is through our media official secretary, Imam, and which she will write as separate statements and press releases.
And the second is, of course, my humble self, which I will pass that information either.
Just starting out on your currency trading journey, here's one of the biggest tips I can give you. Stop trying to learn.
Through a memo or through a tweet, or like I'm doing tonight on our hallowed platform, Radio Biafra. Now, there may be and there are occasions where members of the director will come on air and on our radio and give and make announcements as they may have been instructed to do. Any other claim to the contrary, any other claim, any other person, or whatever nomenclature that is claiming to be spokesman or spokesperson, on behalf of IPOB, apart from what I have now stated, be rest assured that that claim is simply the work of agent provocateurs. And these people are overall from the law Uchechi Okano, I will call this people as well ectoparasite. And I want to say on the side that Mrs. Uchechi Okano is a woman imbued with great moral high ground, honor, and value. A great woman indeed. A great woman. A great woman because they say for every successful man there must be a woman behind that. And Lord Uchechi Okano has been the bulwark, the strength behind the leader of the Gideon of Biafra. She has gone through this time without number, and she has remained strong. She has remained unwavering. She has remained dedicated to the cause which our leader is at the helm of. She has remained devoted to her family and to her children. And for that reason, I ask Chukwu Abiyama to continue to guide her. I ask Okike to continue to protect and preserve her, and to give her the strength to continue to do what she's doing. And of course, be ready to receive the Nukumangu sooner than later, which is Onyenumazi Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, Onyabu the Nukumangu. So I am commending our leader's wife for her tenacity and for her courage. Please, madam, I'm sure probably you're not listening, but continue on that part. For you have the back of the IPOB families worldwide. You are well loved by all of them. And we will continue to do what we have to do to ensure that all is well with you and the children until our leader comes out. Now, there is a very troubling, situation in Biafra land. This is very troubling because I have tried to, to think and find a reason why what is happening. But I can't lay my hand on any good reason. What am I talking about here? And I guess this is not just new, but the intensity of what the zoo is doing in our land has increased within the past months.